What's up, everyone?
What's up, everyone?
I love that intro.
Whenever that intro comes on, like I got like a subwoofer and that thing is like bumping in here.
Hey, I need one of those. I know it's like, man, are we in the club or what?
Exactly. Ayani's probably gonna run over here. Is like, what the heck was that music all about?
We bumping in here.
Turn it up. That's what's happening.
Hey,
What's
that's
up,
how you gotta
everyone?
start that's how you gotta start the live.
For real. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone.
For real. Happy freaking Monday. It's been a long day.
Amen. Yes.
Amen.
We
Hey,
got
guys.
so many people.
Guys.
We're gonna have a lot of new people in today. So
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm excited for everyone here to join us tonight. This is a Q&A, guys, all about multifamily. So if you guys have questions that you've been dying to ask KJ or Joseph or myself or anybody on the team, Carolyn Myron, this is your chance. And because our Q&As have been running a little long today, we are going to keep it for an hour. So as soon as that hour mark is completed, it's done. We are going to end the live, but you can still go into our Facebook group and post those questions in there, and we can definitely help you guys out. But today is the day, guys. So if you have questions, start putting in the chat. And also, before we get started, most of the action is in YouTube. So if you guys want to hop over to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and all the comments and chats are in there. So guys, go to the YouTube channel. It's definitely much more, what do you call it? Help
a
me
lot
out.
more activity.
Yeah, there we go.
What we're getting at is we're gonna tell you guys a bunch of stuff. We're gonna give value. We're gonna provide the content, right? But the real value from rooms like this, not only ours, but all these other places that you could go to, is in the side chat. It's talking to people. That's where you get the most value from. By doing that and talking to these people, who knows, you might meet your next partner, you might meet your next investor, you might meet your next mentor. You don't know who you're talking to, so you got to talk to them and get involved. Yeah, I saw that one too. Everyone always compliments on it. It's definitely the right spot to hang it, that's for sure. If you are in the Facebook, this is what your name will pop up as if you don't sign up or hit allow. Or you could go into YouTube and be able to communicate with everybody and be able to see your name pop up when we pull up your question.
Can we put the YouTube channel in the chat?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay. And then, guys, thank you so much. If you're
Apologize
new,
if my throat is running.
oh, gotcha.
I was just gonna say I just ate some spicy food, so if you hear me sniffling, we had Thai food and I got a level 5. So I'm running, dude. It was good, but it was spicy.
That's awesome. Put some fires in the chat because that's how Joseph's mouth feels right now. It's fire right now.
For real.
Guys, if you are new to our live tonight, please let us know in the chat. Let us know, hey, I'm new, first time here, or put something in the chat letting us know that that you guys are new. It's awesome that we have newer people come in here and get to know us a little bit more. For those of you who don't know us, we are JBM Legacy, otherwise known as the $1 Million Upside Team. That was coined by you guys. A lot of you guys have already met some of the team. Like, we are all part of the Elephant Challenge. We're all sub 2 students. So we're in there doing that. We're all leaders in the group right now. You've probably seen Carolyn Myron, who are also part of this group. Of course, KJ and Joseph Mudd, and then myself and Ione. We're all 6 of us individually, all 3 couples, and we work together in multifamily. So for myself and Ione, you know, I'm the visionary. If you guys know anything about Rocket Fuel, visionary integrator, I'm the visionary. I'm typically the one talking to people, asking or building relationships and upfront. That's the kind of person I am. And Ioni's the integrator. She likes to be behind the scenes, typically behind the computer, underwriting and running numbers. So that's what she likes to do. And if KJ and Joseph, if you guys want to continue, you guys can introduce yourself to the people who are new.
Yeah. So I'm Joseph. Oscar said it best. I mean, I partake in a lot of the I'm basically overall support. That's pretty much my role. I help in wherever it needs to be done, but my primary role is underwriting and asset management. So I do a lot, but that's the primary roles that I fit in. And KJ, you can speak for yourself.
I'm the visionary. I come up with a bunch of ideas. I do all our social media. I source so many deals and build relationships with brokers. Today, I raised capital. I found two KPs. So I did that for the first time today. So all of us kind of learn. Like we each have our roles that we're good at, but then like we also learn different aspects of everything and also contribute in that way too. So we're not just stuck to one thing. Like if there's an opportunity, we all help each other out and bring it to the table. So
Absolutely. So, guys, today is, and I think Carolyn and Meyer might jump on, but if not, that's okay. But today is Q&A. Today is all about Q&A, guys. So if you have any questions, I think I see a few in the chat already, but if you guys have any questions, get your questions in now because we're only doing an hour tonight. We typically go over that hour, but because we have been on the Elephant Challenge, we've just been super, super busy. So we're trying to cut back on the amount of time that we put on here. That way we can be more effective for you guys in the future. So start putting in your chats, in your chats. Start putting in your
Yeah,
questions in the chat.
I got a couple already, man.
all right,
I
let's
see
go.
what
Let's
you-
run
Go.
them.
Let's do it. So I see Jay. This is a great question to start off. He says, "Can I buy multifamily without getting into quads or smaller units?"
Can I answer? Can I answer?
Please do.
We don't own a house. We rent a house, but now we own 70 units. If that's a,
Raise your hand.
I was like, this house we rent, but now we own 70 units. So go big or go bigger.
I got another one for you, man. Tony Bang Bang. I freaking love your name.
That's
Hilarious.
fun to
Cracks me up every
say.
time I see it. But Tony Bang Bang says, "What is your broker outreach goal each day?" I think KJ, this is your question right now.
When we first started, 30 a day. That's what I could handle. That's what I was okay with. Like if I hit that, I'm good for the day, whether they answer or not. Because also, if they weren't answering, I was sending them texts, I was leaving voicemails, and then if they did answer, I was sending them follow-up emails about a recap of our conversation. And then I was keeping track in a spreadsheet. So it wasn't just 30 calls, it's also all of that on top of it. So it can feel like a lot and be draining. So that's why I was like 30 a day was good for me.
Yeah, and we had two people making 30 calls a day. So
Yeah, me and Carolyn were doing that. So that was 60 calls a day between the two of us. So
okay. Ryan Schroep said, "This is a good question too. We actually just learned this during the Elephant Challenge. Like we understood it, but didn't know how to do it. Now we know how to do it." He says, "What's going on with the taking a commercial loan sub 2 stuff? Can you guys share some more on the details of how that would work?" So essentially, he's asking, how do you sub to a commercial loan? Do you want to take this one, Oscar, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can touch up on it. If I miss anything, let me know.
Okay.
But essentially, Ryan, I asked the same question to Pace, like, how do you do it? And he said the same way you would with a single family. Obviously, there's a few things here and there that you would do differently, but that's what he told me. He goes, you do it the same way you do single family. And so what you're going to run into with some commercial loans, depending on the loan type, you might run into some that, or I'm sorry, before I even say that, you might run into some brokers who are not familiar with how to do a subject to, right? They know loan assumptions very well, but you might run into some brokers who have been in the game for 10, 15, 20 plus years, and they don't know what sub two is. So you're going to run into that. The best way to do it, I would say, is to be direct to seller. If you are direct to seller, they will understand. Joseph and I had a conversation with the seller who understood creative finance, and he was totally okay with doing sub two on a commercial loan.
Yeah. For those of y'all that have been following for a while, if y'all heard the phone on KJ's story or post or something, that was the phone call that Oscar is referring to. And the main difference between a single family sub 2 and a multifamily sub 2 is in a single family, you're just taking over and making the payments, right? You're doing the exact same thing in multifamily with one added difference. Instead of the seller being completely just gone from it, right? What you're doing is adding them as a partner to your LLC, where that takes over that property. And that seller remains a silent partner, but in the operating agreement, you're specifying that that seller gets none of the appreciation, none of the depreciation, and none of the cash flow. They are only getting what is paid, whatever you agree to pay them, and that is structured in the operating agreement. That's basically the only difference. I hope that helps. And if we start confusing you, ask more questions, because I know that was a pretty high level question. Okay, Adrian Vasquez says, just wondering, and I think he's asking about the napkin underwriting. If I divide the NOI from the cap rate and it comes out slightly lower than the purchase price listed, that would be considered a deal worth taking a look at, correct or no? Definitely. Yeah. If your napkin underwriting, which is what you're doing, you sounds like you're doing it right. You're dividing. So you're taking the NOI and you're dividing it by the cap rate. So flop those around. And if that number, it's going to spit out a valuation, it's going to be your potential offer. If that number is slightly less or pretty dang close to the asking price, that's definitely a deal worth taking a look at. And if it's over the asking price, it's absolutely a deal worth looking at. If you want to know more about the napkin underwriting, there's plenty of content out on that in our Facebook group. There you go, the $1 Million Upside Facebook group in the featured tab. There's lots of, I think there's like 4 or 5 videos about napkin underwriting in there. For those of y'all that are new, definitely worth going to check it out. Okay, what type of multifamily, we'll just say multifamily class, are you guys getting into? We are buying A, B, and C. Basically all of them, as long as it's not in a war zone, meaning I don't want to buy in the hood or somewhere where I would feel not safe walking around. Okay, I'm looking, here we go. Joshua Jones, is there a specific underwriting spreadsheet that we use? We have 3 of them, but I use one and Ione uses like 2 of them.
I have my own.
Yeah, and Ione made one for KJ, which we're thinking about selling. Let us know what would be a good number for you guys. I know what we should charge, but this tool that let me just preface it. We have a tool already made for the napkin underwriting. So for those of y'all that don't like doing math, it basically does it for you, plug in the numbers. We have that one that's done and ready to go. And we're working on building our own analyzer, our own like all-encompassing analyzer that has traditional, like going through the bank, as well as seller finance and sub 2s and assumable and seller finance, like all these strategies that we have to go and manually do. We're trying to make an analyzer that does all of that for us. So that's in the works. To let you know which one we use, we have 3 of them, right? The low level, which I suggest that most people start on if they're looking to get involved, is the Michael Blank syndicated deal analyzer. I think it's like $200-300 or something like that. Then there's one that is part of the group that if Oscar wants to disclose that, he can, but that one is exclusive to that group only, and he pays a monthly service for that group, and that's the one that I use. I like that one. And then I can't give that out. It's not mine to give out. The last one is, I think it's $1,000, and that one is Real Data Pro. That one's pretty advanced. They all come with tutorials on how to do it. But I suggest if you're brand new to this, maybe start understanding the concepts first. And if you like, okay, I want to underwrite, then I would look into maybe the Michael Blank, or come back and hit us up, and maybe we'll be done with the other one by then. Okay. Esteban Ibarra says, how do you guys pay out equity on a I don't know what MFH is. What is y'all's guess? Multifamily housing?
Yeah, sure.
All right, that's my guess. On a multifamily housing where you have several investors involved. Oscar, I think you should take that one.
Yeah. First and foremost, guys, this is kind of a gray area, so I'm gonna say I am not. None of us here are attorneys. Disclaimer, right? None of us here are attorneys. We're not CPAs and we're not financial advisors. Go seek out your own due diligence and go talk to those people on how to structure that deal. Because when you're talking about paying out investors, that kind of gets in the gray area. It's about raising capital. So I'll keep it very high level, Esteban, and we can definitely do a Zoom once we talk about this topic in more in detail in the future. But it's basically paid out through quarterly distributions when you syndicate the deal. And you know, all that's dependent on how you structure the deal, whether you do a 70-30, 80-20, or 50-50, whatever you want to do. That's a syndication model. So whenever you do that, you just that's the typical payouts is quarterly distributions. So hopefully that answers your question.
Well said, brother. I am going to butcher this name, but I think it's Uziel.
Yeah, Uziel.
Hit me up, brother. If my Instagram tag's on the screen, if you really got a seller financing deal, let me know. I might buy it from you. So hit me up. We can work on it together.
There's our Instagram when the question
there's
goes
our
away.
Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Twatty wants to know when the next matchmaker is. We don't know yet. Yeah, that one is, for those of y'all that are new, that is a really great, it's kind of like Tinder for multifamily investors, people to go and find their partner, right? We said in the beginning to go communicate with other people in the community within the chat and whatever. We hosted a Zoom for people to do kind of like speed dating. They have 2 or 3 minutes, talk about themselves, and figure out which partners they want to maybe match with. So there's 2 of those videos out as well. KJ, where are they at?
In the Facebook group and the featured tab under JBM recordings.
Perfect. So the answer is we don't know just yet, but it'll probably be sometime in January, February, maybe. Probably February, because KJ and I have a baby soon, so we'll be busy. Okay, Esteban, what has been the most challenging part in investing into a multifamily home? Underwriting, raising capital, etc. KJ, I think you should answer this one.
I don't know. I think the challenging part is going through so many deals to find a good one. I think it's like, I don't know, I think I have like 50 on our whiteboard and we're still trying to get, we sent a ton of LOIs, but it's like waiting for these sellers to wake up that it's not 2022. Okay, what I mean is like, you know, the good market, it is 2022, but you know what I mean. It's not it's not the same market. Yeah. I think maybe that's the challenging part because like our underwriters, Joseph and Ione, they freaking kill it. Like we paid the money to know what we know and have confidence. I mean, there's still a lot that we need to learn and we learn by doing, but like I have faith in God that a good deal comes, the money's going to come. So I ain't worried about that. I know God's going to provide. And so it's more so getting through all of these deals and having a broker that understands that. So like I'm super thankful that our broker understands that like, okay, let's just keep trucking through these deals. Just keep going through them. Like he doesn't get discouraged knowing that majority of them are not going to work out for us because either, you know, the cash on cash isn't good or, you know, the seller's asking too much or we end up putting in a good offer and then someone comes and tops our offer. So I think the challenging part is just sifting through deals and finding the right one. But I also know that like maybe God is giving us specific deals because he knows like, oh, maybe that other deal that I was hoping for, there's something that we didn't know about that would have, you know, made things harder on us. So I trust in him. I trust the process. I trust that all our hard work is going to pay off. And it's just having grit and faith and determination that you need to build that mental mindset to handle to do this stuff. I don't know if that was a good answer.
Yeah. So the answer is mindset. Yeah, to sum all of that mindset to get to the point of what she's talking about. That I would agree with you. That was the hardest part is
Yep,
to get
I
that
agree
right.
too. Yeah.
Okay, I got like 2 more for you, KJ. Actually, here you go.
Okay,
LA
I'm gonna take a
says,
big breath.
"Can you give us an example of the messages you would leave to the brokers, or what the first conversation would be like?"
um, I would just tell them, hey, I am looking to buy multifamily in this area. Our team is looking to acquire 1,000 units by July 2023. I am looking for X, Y, and Z, like whatever your buy box is. Do you have anything available? Do you come across multifamily? Are you currently working in the multifamily apartment? I can't think. Are you working in it right now? You know, because some people are like doing development, some people are doing retail and other stuff. Like having a conversation with them, you want to vet them like they vet you. So yeah, and if not, a good thing you could do to get a broker to call you back, because I don't like to give too much information because then they judge you before they call you back. I just say, hey, this is Kelly. I'm a buyer and I'm looking for, and then hang up. Leave
Let's
them
do it.
hanging. Just leave them hanging, and they're gonna be like, wait a minute, let me call this person back. And then you can control the conversation rather than them deciding whether or not it's worth their time to call you back. So that's what I do.
And if you want more, she's done some YouTube videos. So if you go to our YouTube channel, there's videos on that there as well. And some in the feature tab too, I think, as well, in the Facebook group.
And I'm gonna make more content soon. I just need to block out time.
Yeah, we've got a lot of ideas for you guys. We just don't have a lot of time to get it done. So we're actively working for it. The plan is to do an additional YouTube video every 2 weeks at least. So, all right, next question, also for KJ. Denise says, where do you get your brokers list from, or do you just look for deals and call the brokers on those? Good question.
So when I first started out, I just went to LoopNet and I went page by page by page by page. And me and Carolyn called like over 500, 600 brokers collectively. Now, knowing what I know and having the confidence that I have and the knowledge that I have, I don't want to do that anymore. I go look at listings that have been sitting for a while, and then I go and kind of grill the broker. So it's a little different now. And I think if you're starting out, you should do your reps and go find your brokers to build relationships with. But I mean, you can do both either way. But like, if you call a broker that has a listing, they're going to be like, well, did you read my listing? So if you don't know other questions to ask and things to like build the relationship with, they're just going to be like, why are you calling? Because that happened to me in the beginning. I didn't want to call listings that already had brokers because of that exact reason. So it's funny how things have switched now, but do whatever you're comfortable with. Don't be afraid to take action. And if you mess up, it's fine. They're probably not going to remember you, and just try again the next week. So, yeah.
Well said. Facebook user says, hi, I am new. Are you taking questions here or on YouTube? We will take questions here, but we don't know who to credit the question to. So if you want to be given credit to the question, I will go to YouTube, and then on YouTube, you can see everybody else in the chat as well. Philip says he's got an off-market opportunity of 21 units that cash flows 135 per year with an NOI of 95K. So I brought this up because one, I'd like to tell you to reach out to me, and then two, with these numbers, that doesn't make sense because your NOI is your net operating income. So that's the money you have left over after the expenses are accounted for. So if it cash flows 135, it would have to be, the NOI would have to be greater than 135 for that to be possible. So maybe you have these backwards. Reach out to me. I'll help you out. Let me find the next one. Here we go. Esteban. Man, Esteban coming with the questions. I think this is fourth or fifth one. On a multifamily home, are you guys raising private money for a down payment, or are you guys doing a mortgage method? On what frequency do you pay your investors? I think this is an Oscar question.
I thought that too.
Hey, Esteban. So good question, man. So I will say, yes, we are raising the capital for the down payment and anything else additional to that. So if there's CapEx involved, that's also going in the budgeting or in the underwriting as far as the capital raise, and then anything else like upfront cost or attorney fees and whatnot, all that gets calculated in the underwriting as it's part of our capital raise. Are we doing Morby method? We have not done a Morby method. Does that mean we won't do one in the future? I think we might. It's definitely a possibility to do a Morby method. I know Pace does some, and it would not be a bad idea to look into it, because I believe that can work too on a couple of deals that we've looked at before. And then on what frequency do you pay your investors? I guess you're talking about the limited partners, and if you are, again, if you're doing the syndication model, consult your attorneys. We are not attorneys. We're not CPAs. We're not financial advisors. That's something that you would work out with them as well. But for us, quarterly distributions for our limited partners, that's how we do it.
Beautiful. Real quick, Maggie wants to know, can we re-watch this? Is it going to be on the Facebook page? You definitely can re-watch it. I think it will be on the Facebook page, but you can also go to the YouTube channel and re-watch it there. It'll be under the live section. Okay. Joel says, where's the OGs in the chat? Joel's an OG. Oh, we're already giving value, guys. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
Go take action, Ryan.
Okay, Esteban. Look, another question, my brother.
I love it.
How long is it taking you guys to close escrow on a multifamily home? Normally, it's like 45 days due diligence, 30-day closing. That's kind of the norm. But in today's market, we're doing a lot of loan assumptions. So we're doing 45-day due diligence with a 60 or 90-day close, just depending on what kind of deal it is, how we're offering to buy it. So it takes a while. They do take a minimum 2.5 months minimum for most deals. Some deal, like if seller finance, it could close immediately as soon as you're done with due diligence. That's what we did in Rocky Top. So it just really depends on the structure of the deal and how fast you can raise that money. But you put all of that in your underwriting. You prepare yourself. Okay. And Andrea Waters would like to know, what kinds of backgrounds do we have? Classes, degrees, are there any you'd recommend? I think we should just all answer that real quick. Who wants to start it?
Oscar. I was going to go nose goes.
What kind of backgrounds do y'all have? I come from an IT background, classes and degrees, just a high school diploma for me. I tried college, Andrea, and to tell you the truth, it wasn't for me. So, and are there any you'd recommend as far as like multifamily or real estate classes? Yeah, if you're not in sub 2, I recommend sub 2. If you want to get into multifamily, any class in multifamily, there's a few that we're a part of, and I think we're still looking for that one that we would say this is the one. But we divide and conquer, so we're trying out a bunch of different types of courses. So I would say, even if you're in one mentorship, don't stop learning. Keep on learning, keep on reading, keep on getting into the same room or in different rooms, and don't stop at just one. Don't settle. Keep learning.
Well said, man. I feel like we should have made Oscar go last. That was too good.
I know. How are we going to top that?
Yeah, so kinds of backgrounds. So we all come from creative finance and single family, right before multifamily. We've all been doing it for about 7 months now together. before that, before real estate, we were serving. KJ and I were both basically serving. I had started a personal training job, worked one day, and didn't even complete the day. And COVID happened. They sent everybody home. So KJ and I started real estate during COVID, and we're here now, right? I have a kinesiology degree, and I don't use it. It just hangs right here on the wall. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that. And same with what Oscar said. It's about getting in the right rooms and talking to people. Same thing I said in the very beginning. Just network, 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 network. I know you've heard it before, but your network is your net worth. So true. Go ahead, KJ. Finish it off.
I have a 30K piece of paper sitting there that does me nothing. It just reminds me of my debt. I went to school to be a teacher, so that's kind of where if you my belly, oh my god, if you're my baby elephants in here, like that's where my strength comes in, because I went to school to be a teacher. I love teaching, and I'm good at doing that kind of stuff. So even though I don't use my degree, at least I still get to do my passion with real estate. So I learned more doing what we do and working for ourselves now than I have ever learned in any type of school or college. So
beautiful. And look, we got confirmation that what we already knew, people agree with.
heck yeah, serious people will find value in it.
Mm-hmm. Esteban again, bro, you're about to get the question MVP award tonight. Are you guys using a TC for your multifamily deals? No, we use an attorney. They basically do everything. It's essentially a very expensive TC.
Yeah, that's
like,
one way to put it.
if we're doing a syndication model, it's like 15 grand.
Maybe more. I think maybe more.
Just depends. But on average, it's like 15 grand.
It's expensive.
Look, deal analyzer is cool. Look, Don Rich says Real Data Pro is legit. That was
Hey,
What's
Don
up,
Rich.
Don? We got Don in the house, man. What's going on, brother?
definitely a good one for sure. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Who controls the deed if you're using a syndication fund for a multifamily? Take it, Oscar. Take it, Oscar.
Yeah. So, Esteban, good question. Again, when you're doing a syndication model, it's crucial you have your attorney with you, because your attorney is going to ask you, how do you want to structure this? And if you don't know how, then they'll help you how to do the organizational structure or your corporate structure. But in essence, it's going to be an LLC, whatever you and your partners who are the GPs decide to do it with or whatever. It's going to be that LLC that owns the deed for the syndication. There's a bunch more in there, but that's a topic for its own Zoom. I'll just leave it at that. Once you do with your attorney, they will help you do that, and it'll be an entity that holds the deed for the syndication.
Beautiful.
Side note, please like and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers.
Let's go. Okay, Joel says, what are key trends to pay attention to when underwriting? There's videos on this already, so we can go. I won't go too far into it, but when you're looking at the T12s, that's really what you're looking at, right? And the T12s is the trailing 12 months. It's the income and expenses of the property over the last 12 months. That's what a T12 is. And you're looking at it to figure out if there's any fluctuations throughout the time, whether it's from this month to this month, or maybe this section to this section. You're just looking for things that maybe don't make sense, that aren't consistent. You're looking for those spikes in numbers. We can go further into that on another Zoom. And then he has another question. So do we talk about sub-2 to brokers instead of loan assumptions? So I'll say this, Joel. Your job as an investor is to get knowledgeable about the different ways to acquire and take down these properties. That's your job as an investor, a multifamily investor, right? So you should get as knowledgeable as you can, get as many tools in your tool belt as you can, and then figure out what's the best tool to use for the job. right? That's exactly what a contractor does, right? They don't take only a hammer and use a hammer to do everything and try and cut 2x4s, right? They would use a saw or a sawzall to cut it, right? Whichever. You have to have the multiple tools and know which tool to use at what time. That's the best analogy I can give you.
That was a good one.
Bet. I got a lot of them. Okay, Esteban again, bro. Ooh, my
He was
God.
waiting for tonight.
I know. He's been holding on these questions for like 2 weeks, feels like.
He's like, now's my time.
He said, if there is multiple investors involved, are you guys closing under a corp or an LLC? Okay, so our structure is we have an LLC. We have a holding LLC with our team in there, all of the partners in the team, and then we have subsidiary LLCs, and we make a new one for each property that we're acquiring. And that subsidiary LLC is the owner, and this is very high level. It's much more in depth than this, but just to make sense, that our subsidiary LLC is placed in the management LLC, the owner of the property, along with any other investors that are involved, their entities in there too. And so that's how it's structured. It's housed under that. But our subsidiary LLC is how we all get paid, and we just put it under another LLC. So it's consult your attorney. We really need to like get the little banner at the bottom where it says that. So instead of me
Disclaimer.
just with my hand,
Yeah,
bro, it'll
I
take
can
us
do
like 10
that.
seconds. We should just go make that one day. Bob wants to know when the baby is due. And Martha wants to have a meetup in Houston. We would do it, but as we've already experienced, KJ cannot go anywhere.
I am down to do a meetup in Houston, but I cannot go anywhere else. I
It's
won't
got to
make
be
it.
within the hour.
It can't be a bar. It's gotta be somewhere where I can sit and be comfortable, and it's not super loud. Like if I have to scream and I still can't hear you, then that's a problem. Because we went to a meetup like that, and that was not fun. So
Yeah.
I'm down, but I need help planning it. So if anybody wants to be an action taker and a leader and help put something together with us, that would be great because I got a lot on my plate, and that's what holds me back from doing it. But if you guys want to meet up in Houston, I'm down as long as if you guys want to come help us do that.
Yeah,
So
we've been talking about it for a while.
And then Joseph, we have 20 more minutes, bro. So let's try to plow as many as we can.
Okay, here we go. Speed round. Antisocial Kid says, what is the best way to raise capital that is our biggest roadblock, and what would be the best way to go about it? Oscar, do that one.
Real quick, antisocial kid. Just high level. This can be another one, a Zoom, and it's also a gray area. So I don't want to talk too much. Maybe we can do a Zoom on this. But the biggest roadblock is mindset is one. Second is how to go about it. You just talk to people, get to know people, and get people knowing you. So if you don't do anything in social media, you should. That's how people get to know you. We started talking about what we did. And look at us now, like we have people who know us and they want to squat up with us just because we put ourselves out there. So one, it's the mindset that we had to overcome. And two is we had to put ourselves out there. Once we did that, people are starting to wanting to, squat up with us essentially. So that's the biggest two things I can recommend for someone doing it in the early stages.
Beautiful. Okay, I got one for KJ. Denise says, so you guys do broker outreach until you find a good one and then have them submit the offers?
the goal is find a broker you either want a broker that's doing a lot of listings, or you find a broker that is going to go find you other brokers that do listings. So you find someone that you vibe with and that you get along with and that wants to hustle like you hustle, not someone who's going to take a week to respond or going to tell you to go message the listing broker and CC them on with it. Because if that's how it's going to be, then I don't need to pay you. So you want somebody like my broker calls other brokers. I'm teaching him to underwrite. He negotiates for me. He submits LOIs for me. He can walk properties for us. So like what value are they bringing in? What are they doing to earn their fee, right? So find a good one, and then they're going to help be on your team, basically. They're going to be part of your team.
Beautiful. Jaden Rose says, are you familiar with RUBS? Can you talk about that? If so, I definitely am familiar with RUBS. RUBS, for those of you that don't know, is an acronym for Ratio Utility Bill Back System. All that means is the utilities, the owner of the property, the landlord, is taking and paying the utilities and then charging that back to the tenants. So for example, some properties, like for electricity, it's master metered, meaning there's only one meter and not every unit has its own. So the owner gets the bill, pays the bill, and then based on a ratio, he charges back to pay to essentially negate that expense, and or, which is what we would do, also provide an additional income. So he would charge back a little bit more than what he's paying. So if he's paying like $5 per unit, which is totally unrealistic, but just for example, he's going to charge back $10 per unit. He's making $5 per unit, right? So that's how RUBS work. Okay, I got one. And I saw Don Rich over here preaching.
I literally was about to pull that up.
AJ preaching.
Wait, you got to read what it says. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Amen. Everything we have is because of God. Everything good in our life, the way we get through our struggles. All I have to say is thank you, God, for waking us up today, for providing this community and opportunities and everything else. I could preach all day, but all I got to say is we didn't used to have God in our life, and now we do, and everything gets so much better. So, amen.
Well said. And for those of y'all that are new, I know we have a lot of KJ baby elephants in here, and that's basically every day. KJ, KJ, and we love it. We all have the same beliefs on this team, and she just puts it out there. She's the shining light. Here we go. Next question. Rob Dodd from Minnesota says, do your LOIs include multiple offers? Non-binding purchase price decreases along with the percentage seller will carry. I'm a little confused about the second part. First part is our LOI has one offer. If we have another offer, we'll create a second LOI and then just send them both. So they have both on two separate things. That way, you could put it all on one, but for us, it's easier to do that so there's less confusion. It's two separate offers. Okay, non-binding purchase price decreases along with percentage seller will carry. Do you understand?
So the LOI itself, Rob, is non-binding, but I don't know what you mean by the purchase price. Yeah, so I would say that the LOI is non-binding for sure.
Yes. You have my number. Give me a call, and I can elaborate further. All right, next one.
We forgot to answer Bob's question. I'm due at the end of this January. I realized we totally went over it.
Sorry, Bob. Okay. I get a lot of free and clear C+ and C- multifamily in Texas. Working on one with Myron. Looking forward to connecting. Oh, I thought that was a question. Sorry. Okay. Do we not focus on off-market multifamily? We're not opposed.
No, whatever comes our way.
Whatever comes our way, we'll do it. As long as it fits our buy box. Okay, Philip says, if the current multifamily for sale is 100% during the underwriting process, what is the best percent to be taken off for vacancy? Okay, real quick, I would first confirm the occupancy, go to the rent roll that they provide and Control F, type in vacant, and see if anything's there. Usually that will find at least one vacant. More often than not, it's not 100% occupancy. So just confirm that. Either way, though, I would do at least a minimum of 5% vacant. 5% vacant. And if you want to be very conservative, which is always a good idea, do at least 10. Okay. Our DOS clause a thing with commercial loans? Due on sale clause. Yes, definitely. That's why we, for a while, did not want to do a sub-2 with a commercial loan. And then hearing Pace, how he structured it, made so much sense. And now we have no fear about it. That's why we said we keep the seller on as a partner, So they're not leaving the deal. They're still in the deal. We're just being added to that deal with them. Michelle says, hey, long time no see, Michelle. Okay, question from Don. He said, I remember when each of you guys started just in single family. This is true. I remember sitting down with Don for the first time.
At dinner.
We were like 4 or 5 months into the journey so far. It was not long. And he says, what has been your biggest shift in mindset on your journey this past year? Man.
Let Oscar go.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Don, I love this question, bro, because just like what KJ and Joseph said, I talked to you when I first started my journey, not necessarily in real estate, but when I first started sub two, because I heard so many good things about you, and Paste always talked about you. And I think I saw a podcast of you and how your mentor first started you out in single family, and having him memorize, like having you going through and memorize like every single street and what the market is. Man, that podcast in itself had me reach out to you, because I was like, I've got to reach out to this guy. But what the biggest shift in mindset on their journey was, there's been a lot, man. And I think the biggest one was the fear of the how do I call it? The transition, because we were used to seeing purchase price of like average of 300,000 here in Texas, right? Maybe 400,000 was like, oh man, that's pretty high, right? But when we got into multifamily, it's multi-million dollar deals, right? For the most part, you're in the millions now, right? And so when we got into that, we were like, oh gosh, how do we even tackle something this big? And at that point, it was like 10 units, 15, 20. And I'm not throwing salt to anybody out there who's looking at those units right now and you're afraid. No, we were there, right? We were in that spot as well. And so going through all that, Don, I think the biggest mindset shift happened when I got into the right rooms and I knew that it was possible for us to do it. I didn't need money, because I didn't need money. I didn't need what do you call it? Gosh, I lost my train of thought. But the thing is, I didn't need money is to start. That's what the thing is. I just didn't need. I needed to be in the right rooms. Once I was in there, done. Like I can do this. And so being in the right rooms, surrounding myself with people who are doing this and leveraging those communities, that was the biggest mindset shift. Is why am I compromising? I should be doing this because I know I can do it.
Well said, bro. That's why we call him Rico Suave, guys. He's so good. He's just so good. Okay, next one. Julius Hardy says, so you assume the loan and not subject to. You could do either. It just depends. There's both options, right? It just depends on which strategy you're going to use. Assuming the loan, you have to be able to sign for that loan. You have to have the net worth and be able to do that to assume that loan. And if you don't, you have to, excuse me, that Thai food. You have to have a key principal or a sponsor to sign on that loan for you. And that key principal / sponsor would then become part of your GP, part of the general partners. The general partners are the managers of the deal. And that leads me into Esteban's next question. It says, if multiple investors are involved in purchasing a multifamily, you guys are assuming the loan, who is actually assuming the loan? Is it a multi-member LLC? So it doesn't have to be a multi-member LLC. You can have a bunch of individuals on the LLC. It's however your GP is structured. And the person who's assuming the loan is that key principal or sponsor, and that could be their only role in the deal. They could get 10%, maybe 15%, whatever's agreed upon of the total GP percentage just for signing on the loan and doing absolutely nothing else. That is an option. If you have net worth like that, that is an option for you, and you should definitely reach out to me on Instagram. Okay. Maggie says, where do you find people to raise capital at? In the right rooms. Go get in rooms like this, talk to people, go out to multifamily events, single family events, go to doctors events, lawyers events, go everywhere, talk to everyone. I've pitched, Oscar was there with me. I've pitched raising capital to our Uber drivers, like literally everybody and anybody. Just tell them what you're doing. The best way you can get started is you ask them what they're doing or what they do. And typically the normal human response is, what do you do? Right. And you say, oh, well, I help people invest in real estate, and I help people invest in real estate and get them double-digit returns. You could start with that and structure it how you want to, and that starts the conversation, opens it up for you to talk more about it. That's quick advice right there. Okay. And guys, we have 10 minutes left, and I'm halfway through the questions. So I apologize that we're not going to be able to get to everybody. Larry Jeffrey says, do you or have you considered writing a fee for yourself for putting deals together, sort of like an underwriting fee? Yes, absolutely. I charge an underwriting service. So if you just want underwriting, I do that already. Just hit me up. I will talk about that. If you're talking about as general partners to structure the deal, there's an acquisition fee that we pay ourselves as general partners. And that's essentially the finder's fee or upfront. It's the fee that all the general partners share for taking down the deal. You pay yourself an acquisition fee so you can get paid upfront. Esteban says, can you wrap a multifamily?
That's a good question.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely can. The hard part, right, or the difficult part is finding a multifamily that is free and clear completely, that you don't want to keep yourself. I mean, that's the hard part for us, right? But you definitely could wrap one. For us, I don't know that we would want to. I think we'd rather just take a fee and be out of it. I wouldn't want to stay in that deal for that long. It's totally up to you, whatever strategy you want to do. That's just my opinion. I would rather just cash out and move on to the next one. Take that money and put it into a deal I want. Okay.
Real quick, hide the comment.
Hide it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, can everyone show us some love and follow our Instagrams? These are our Instagram handles at KJ Mudd. That's how you can find me on everything, at Joseph Mudd _ and at Oscar Jimenez 10X. That would mean the world. And like and subscribe, please, if y'all get value from this. Shout us out, tag us on Facebook, on Instagram. You know, don't just dirty and get us, you know, looking all funny, you know. Let us know, we can smile real quick.
It happens a lot, though. It happens a lot.
Hey, I still appreciate the love either way.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's a good question from Texas Props. This is one for Oscar. It says, the attorney / TC gets full pay upon closing and funding.
No, it's typically an upfront cost, Texas prop. So that's one of the risk capitals that you have to underwrite in your underwriting. So it's typically paid upfront. So if you're going to be the one in charge raising for underwriting or raising capital, you will have to know how to do this part upfront. Attorney retainer, attorney fees, some of the third-party inspections that you have to run upfront. All that is done before closing.
Beautiful. Okay. Troy says, are we actively still pursuing single family or exclusively going after multifamily? We are doing both, mostly going for multifamily. We still do single family on the side. If you want to know more about that, just reach out to us. We could talk about that further, but I don't want to take up too much of people's time. Okay, best ways to raise capital. We kind of already talked about that. Talk to everybody. Literally tell people what you're doing all the time. Get annoying with it. Use social media. You can't ask for money directly on social media, so don't do that. Just let people know what you're doing and say if they want to learn more, reach out to you. And then that leads me into Tony Bang Bangs over here. He says, I may have money to invest in your next project. What would that look like? Tony Bang Bang, please reach out. I would love to see who I don't even know, male or female. Tony is a gender neutral. I want to see the person behind Tony Bang Bang. So reach out and we'll definitely talk about that. We could set that up. Quick meeting for sure. Okay, Denise says, is that 15K coming out from raised capital up front, or is it part of closing? I don't recall what 15K you're talking about.
It's the attorney.
The attorney. So yeah, Oscar just answered it. You pay typically a retainer up front, which is the upfront cost. And then at closing, they take the remainder, I believe is how it works. They take whatever's owed to them left. And that you still raise that money. All of this money, everything, upfront costs, all of it, you include that in your raise to pay yourself back. Okay. Sorry, I'm talking fast, trying to plow through these questions. Jackie says, do you have to pay the attorney a retaining fee? Oh, there you go. We just answered that. Okay. Next one. What is the minimum number of units that we're looking to get, guys?
Oh, my bad. My bad.
We are looking for a minimum of 100. We would look at 40 plus if it's seller finance or some kind of creative deal. Anything else, we'd love to help you, but it's not what we're looking to buy. We know a lot of people looking to buy, so we could potentially wholesale it as well. But 100 plus is what we're looking for, 40 plus if it's a seller finance deal. And Philip says, mobile parks, we are not looking for mobile home parks. Esteban says, do you prefer master metered units or individually metered? It doesn't necessarily matter as long as you have a plan in your underwriting. That's my answer. Yeah, it doesn't really matter as long as you are aware and prepared for that. Okay, Carrie says, for everyone, did you know anything about sub 2 before joining the community? Oh, this is sub 2 question. I definitely recommend you go do it. It's a lot of value, lots of value out there. And I'm looking for the next question, guys. Okay. Joel says, will tenants move out of old buildings like Class C for newer luxury? Joel, if they're living in a Class C, that's probably what they can afford. Typically, the tenants that end up there, that's where they can afford to be at, right? So just do your market analysis, figure out what the area is like, and just know that whatever is already there is most likely what you're going to attract, unless you do a major renovation. Okay, all right, guys, y'all do the rest. I'll just pull them up.
Maggie says,
like KJ over here running out of breath.
I know. Maggie says, what did you say about keeping on as partner? They don't get appreciation and
the sub 2.
Yeah, I think it was cash flow appreciation. No, yeah, cash flow appreciation and depreciation. I think those were the three, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And they get whatever y'all have agreed to. So if it's like a hybrid, for example, the sub 2 is that, and then the seller finance, you write in those terms in the operating agreement that this party A or whatever, this seller person gets paid X amount of dollars over this amount of years at a payment of this, and you just write that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joshua says, do we all consider absorption rates when underwriting deals? That's a Joseph question.
Yes, if there is absorption rates involved, absolutely I would. It's not something that I weigh heavily. For the most part, we're basically planning to refinance everything. So if the loan already is good, then we'll just hang on to it. I would consider everything in the underwriting. That's my answer.
Yeah, we stress test it, Joshua. So whatever you can think of in the underwriting, we're gonna test scenario A, scenario B, all the way to Z if we can think about it all the way through.
Yeah.
So definitely consider everything in your underwriting.
Yeah, it's definitely just trial and error. Like you have the base structure, and then you're just doing random different ideas like this, right? Okay, what if this happened? Okay, what if this happened? What if this happened?
All right, and we'll take one more question, and then KJ can do announcements.
Okay, I want to find a good one here. Okay, I don't have any. Wait, here we go. What is this one? Yes, you get tax benefits. I want to get a good question here, guys.
Every question is good. Don't discount them.
I know, but some of them.
I know.
Okay. Maggie says, is that a JV you just offered? If we find a good deal that you would want to wholesale to others? Okay. Very confused by that statement, but I think she's asking, what would it look like if they brought a deal to us? That's my understanding. So it would be very case by case. You could just take a wholesale fee or finder's fee. Um, we would have this conversation up front with you on the first conversation. We would figure out what your goal is, what you're trying to do. Like if you just want to get some cash, like a wholesale, that's fine. We don't mind. We're going to take control of the whole deal and pay you a finder's fee. That's essentially what would happen. Either way, if you bring us a deal, we want to take control of the deal, and it just depends what you're looking to get out of it. It really is what's going to happen. If you want to be kept on the deal, we would have to put you in a role. The best way to get into a deal is to bring a deal that's in your backyard, because if it's outside of our markets where we're in Houston and Dallas, so within 2-3 hours of those surrounding areas is what we'll look at. Outside of that, like for example, the Tennessee deal, someone brought us a deal in Tennessee. We don't live in Tennessee. He does live in Tennessee. So he is our boots on the ground partner. He's the person that goes to the property. He's there on scene. He does all that work there. So that is the easiest way to get into a deal. The other thing you can do is get good at some aspect of it and learn that aspect and get really good at honing those skills in it. So I don't know if I answered the question. It's a case by case basis. That's the answer. It really just depends on what you're looking to get out of it.
Right.
We want to help people get into deals. Absolutely, we want to do that. That's one of our goals. So
yeah,
we definitely believe in helping as many people as possible.
100%, guys. And we're about to end it here, guys. If you have any questions that didn't get answered and you want us to answer it, go to the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. It's the $1 Million Upside Facebook group, and post your questions in there and we'll get to them as soon as we can. Other than that, KJ, the floor is yours.
On Fridays at 10 a.m. Central, we do a weekly recap. So it's not Q&A, but we spend about an hour or however long it takes us to go over it. And we tell you guys exactly what we're doing that week, all the good, all the bad, all the ugly, all the things that we've learned, all the crazy stuff that we're going through, because we are busy all week long taking action. So every week we come together and we share what we're learning so that way you guys can see and follow along on our journey. Every Friday at 12 p.m. Central, we have a multifamily Zoom. I just realized Pace is doing the elephant challenge on Friday again because we canceled last Fridays because of that. So I guess I need to see the time that he's doing the elephant challenge to see if it, I didn't even think about that. If it'll, you know what I mean? If it's going to get in the way, we'll have to figure something out. But thank you everybody for joining. We will love you even more and give you lots of brownie points if you subscribe and you follow us on Instagram. that helps us a lot. We want to get the word out. We're trying to educate and share and teach people stuff that we wish we knew, and we wish we had a community like this when we started. So we want to give back by helping you guys. And if you got any value from this, please let us know. And I think that's it. Y'all got anything else?
Yeah, I want to highlight a couple comments. Rob Dodd from Minnesota says, "This is already the most questions answered in any Q&A I've been to."
Hey.
Fire. Thank you, KJ, Oscar, and Joseph. I love it, guys. Oh, Joel says, "You guys really went at Motivational Monday today." That's all KJ right there, my guys. You guys are rocking. Thanks for answering my question. Followed. I love it, guys. Oh, I already answered that. And there was one other thing on here.
Oh, I forgot to say too.
That
Join the Facebook
in the house. Say it again, KJ.
One more thing. If you want updates, if you want a text message about the Zooms and everything else, you have to go to this website, zoom.jbmlegacy.com. If you sign up there, you get put on a list that I will blast text you every time there's a Zoom or a live or whatever. I'll send out the link. That's the best way for me to get the information out, unless you're following our social media accounts. Then that's up to you to to make sure you get the information. But easiest way is if you sign up here. So other than that, that's all I have.
all I got
Man,
too.
Evan, I thought we were boys, man. I go shopping at Walmart, bro. I'm kidding, guys. Love you guys. Talk to you guys next time. See ya.
Awesome.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.